do Rainbow Hackathon. Hoje a gente vai falar um pouco de uma tecnologia de localização indoor. É uma plataforma que a gente tem dentro do portfólio Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise, que é o OmniAccess Stellar LBS. LBS vem de Location Based Services. Então, durante o Hackathon, as equipes que vão desenvolver algum projeto, algum produto que necessite acesso a serviços de localização, vocês vão ter disponível durante o Hackathon o acesso ao servidor do Stellar LBS. Dentro do ambiente do Hackathon, nós vamos ter alguns beacons espalhados lá no CAT, tá? Então você vai ter a oportunidade de desenvolver algum produto real que possa consumir um serviço de LBS, né, de serviço baseado em localização, para enriquecer a sua ideia e o seu produto. Esse webinar vai ser em inglês, tá? Eu estou aqui com Jerome Elleouet, que vai falar conosco. Então, so let's switch to English. Okay, so guys, welcome to webinar. I have Jerome on the line. So he will explain a little bit more about the LBS concepts and how to build an Android application with LBS. So Jerome, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. The sound is okay, just to be sure before starting speaking.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can go.
Let's go. So, hello everybody. So this webinar is about how to build an Android, mobile Android application on top of the Stellar LBS solution. There's also, in this webinar, we will also talk a bit of Rainbow. I know you get a webinar from Olivier yesterday. So you will see there is huge possibility to mix both technologies together during the hackathon. So first to introduce me, I'm Jerome Elleouet. I'm working in the CTO office for Network Business Division in Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. So I've been in ALE since 20 years now, and I have worked a lot for communication products. I work also a bit on Rainbow, by the way, and now since 2 years on the network business division. With my job is related to all LBS topics, IoT, and cloud solutions. So the agenda for this webinar, what is the target, is about a 15-minute presentation of the Stellar LBS product. Then another part of 15 minutes to give you some links, information about the development materials that will help you to build applications. Then I propose to finish with 30 minutes of a live session using Android Studio and going into the code to see how to build an application. So let's start with what is OmniAccess Stellar LBS. What are location-based services for indoor? First thing to know is that in indoor, the GPS signal most of the time is not okay due to a radio frequency issue. So we need another technology to provide location-based services indoor. And when we are speaking about location-based services, we are speaking about mainly 4 or 5 big features. The first one is the geo-positioning. So the ability for a user of a mobile application to know exactly where he is in the indoor building with an accuracy which is with our solution around 2 meters. Second important feature is the ability to give this user some wayfinding possibility. So he want to go to a point of interest. He can type the point of interest and withdraw on the application the path from his current position to the place he wants to go. The third feature is about geofencing and geofencing notifications. So what is a geofence? First is in the indoor map, you can draw a zone, which is a polygon, where you want to deliver some notifications to the mobile user when he is entering or leaving the zone, or staying in the zone for a given amount of time, what we call the dwell time. That's typical use case for that is proximity marketing. Of course, you can deliver some vouchers when going nearby a restaurant or a shop, for instance. But in fact, you will see that you can do what you want with that. For instance, we can perfectly integrate here some rainbow stuff. It's perfectly possible because it's based on fully open system with a SDK and API. The developer can implement what he has in mind. For instance, we can, when entering a given zone, we can change the present status of this user on Rainbow. We can add this user on a Rainbow bubble. It's up to the imagination of the developer. Another use case is about analytics. So the ability to deliver some insights to the workflow manager mainly, like the number of visitors coming into the buildings, the average dwell time in the building, in the floor, in the fence, geofence, to be able to manage, the building in a different way. It's very important information for that. Our analytics are fully anonymized. So there is no way to know really who was at this place at this point of time. And last one, which we will deliver soon, is the asset tracking. So that's the ability to track some materials. So for instance, we can speak about wheelchairs, stretcher, IV pump for an hospital. We can know where these assets are in the building. We can find an asset very quickly. That's, for instance, an issue in hospitals today for the nurses, for instance. We can also track people with this system, like infant tracking, schools, tracking also elderly people, for instance, in hospitals, or by the way, any hospital patient. This asset tracking feature will come first part of next year with a full set of APIs that will allow to for instance, to notify when someone is leaving a zone or when an asset is leaving a zone. Now, how that works. So today we'll focus on the location-based services on the mobile, not on the asset tracking. That works with beacons that are here. If you see the mouse, you can see the 3 beacons, and with a mobile. And it's important to understand that it's a fully device-centric solution. So everything is done on the mobile. You can even switch off the network with no Wi-Fi, no 4G connection. It will work. The phone is doing some trilateration of beacon Bluetooth low energy signals, and it's even more than trilateration. It's multilateration, and with this, is able to deliver the position of the mobile user on the map. But it's not only using Bluetooth beacon signals, it's also a real fusion between Bluetooth and the MEMS, which are the sensors of the phone, like the magnetometer, accelerometer. When you walk, all that sensors are taken into account. And there is also the GPS sensor, which is used, for instance, to ensure smooth indoor to outdoor transition. So the system is delivering some position information based on, let's say, GPS-like coordinates, which are latitude, longitude, and altitude. So when you move outdoor, you are able to switch on the GPS. It's exactly the same referential. That's very important for some use cases. What are the components available in the OmniAccess Stellar LBS solution? So first, of course, the beacons. So I will deploy during the hackathon a set of beacons. So we will have a fully operational platform where we can build application on top. But it's not only about beacon. We have also the possibility to deliver some USB dongles that you can stick on any Wi-Fi access points or PC or even a desk phone, for instance. And we will deliver soon. I think the access point 1201 will be delivered in 1 week, and this access point has an integrated BLE chip. So in the same access point, you will have the Wi-Fi features, but also the Bluetooth. Then, on top of the hardware, we have a location SDK, 2 location SDK, by the way, one for iOS, one for Android, and developers are using this SDK to build the application. The SDK are delivering roughly 3 types of information. So the first one is the position of the user. So every 1 second you get an update using the SDK with the latitude, longitude, and altitude of the user. And another part is a geofence notification. So you are notified with the SDK when you are entering or leaving a zone. Third part is more related to analytics, and we will not focus that much on it today. We have also some management tools to be able to deploy a site with beacons, to do calibration and fingerprinting. So that's a mobile application, but used by people deploying the solution. And a cloud manager interface where you can manage your site, deploy the beacons, check the health status of the beacons, check your analytics, define your geofence, etc. This cloud manager platform is also coming with a set of REST APIs that you can use to act, for instance, on beacons, to get the status of the beacons, or to define in live new geofences or modify the geofences. That's not only about the SDK for the mobile. There is also a set of REST API that can be useful for developers. Brief overview of the system architecture, just to focus on 1 point. When you develop an application, that's the part which is on the left of the screen. You need to integrate the location SDK, which is the OmniAccess Stellar LBS SDK, but we also need, if we want to deliver some wayfinding features, for instance, we also need to integrate a mapping SDK. And the mapping SDK is coming from some partners we have that delivers vectorial maps that make really nice display on the phone, and also delivering built-in wayfinding and ability to display a position on the map. So in fact, there's 2 SDK mainly to integrate, the location SDK, the mapping SDK. And I hope for the hackathon, we also integrate, of course, the Rainbow SDK all together in the same application. We have, so today, an ecosystem of partners. So we have some mapping vendors I was just talking about. So you get the name of the companies here. Well, VisioGlobe, MapWise, MobileSpot. For the map, during the hackathon, we will use the MapWise provider, so MapWise SDK, and I give later on some information on this SDK. We have also some application development partners like MobileSpot, which is also doing some development, Wasa, CardiWeb, and maybe next step is to get also Intuitiva playing this role of application developers. Okay, so that's over for the LBS presentation. I make it quick, no use case, no business case, so it's focused on development here. Development materials now. So today we have the Stellar LBS official website, I mean, with the cloud manager, but also all the documentation. So you get documentation about mobile SDK with the complete API reference for that, and also for the REST APIs. So I will share the presentation to Marcos after the webinar, so that he will send it to you. But you will be able to click on the link basically to get access to the website. So for instance, here we get the documentation for mobile SDK with iOS, Android SDK, and then you get some quick start information. That's the place I recommend to go to start. And you have all the information that you basically need to start building your application. You will see it's not big number of code lines. It's really easy to start with this. You have also access to the API reference like this. So all the details about every method, every parameters, and so on, you will get from here. Go back to the presentation. We also have a Stellar LBS GitHub repository where I have put the source code of the demo application that is running in our demo center in Colombes in France, in Calabasas near Los Angeles. So this demo application is running, and we showcase the demo application to our customers, and you get the access to the full source code of the demo application. I have another slide with more detail on the demo application later, and you get also access to some development tutorials. So basically, same content that what you will get today, but okay, with more time to analyze and more detail. So it's a series of 5 tutorials, and inside you get how to implement, how to get your position with the SDK, how to implement the geofencing, and also how to integrate the Rainbow SDK with one use case, which is when you enter a geofence, you change your present status in Rainbow to do not disturb. So just a way to show a super simple example that we can do. So yeah, the Android demo application. So to give you an overview of the feature, it's possible to implement. So all the positioning, geofencing, and wayfinding stuff are implemented in this demo application. The demo application is running with 2 different mapping partners, so you can choose your map. And in the screen here, you get a 3D example, which is provided by VisioGlobe. And you will see during the hackathon, so the 2D version with Mapwise. And in this application, in addition to the classic LBS use cases, so we get some Rainbow integration with some, okay, just explain the geofencing and Rainbow present status set. We are also able to track people based on their Rainbow identifier. So in the demo application, the user is logged on Rainbow, and then we are able to display on the map where is, for instance, Marcos. Of course, Marcos needs to check he's okay for that, and this is done also to a chatbot, a Rainbow chatbot that has been implemented for that, with delivering some wayfinding. So for instance, you can ask to the chatbot with your voice or with text. So it's a Rainbow chatbot. So it's Rainbow user. You ask him about or I need a drink or whatever, and is able to answer with a link you can click on, and there is a deep link with the mobile application, the LBS demo application, which is automatically started with the wayfinding to the place you want to go. So that's maybe also some idea we can think about during the hackathon. So again, the GitHub link here give you access to the full source code of this application, and there are also a YouTube channel with the video series about the demos. So it's different from the tutorials. So it's for a video with the demo application and what the feature description of the demo application. So now speaking about development for today, in fact, what we will need, what I will show is based on Android Studio, which is probably the key, the most relevant development tool for Android applications. And we will also, of course, use Stellar LBS. It's okay. And Mapwise and Mapbox. Mapwise is a mapping solution, and it is based on Mapbox, which is also a mapping solution, let's say a competitor of Google Maps, an open source, which delivers super nice SDK and customization features and so on. So you're able to really do super nice things with Mapbox, and Mapwise is doing some indoor plugin on top of Mapbox. And in the link here, you get access to getting started about the Mapwise SDK, but they have also a fully open source application. We have lots of source code in it. So to get really nice examples about how to use Mapwise SDK to deliver wayfinding and much more stuff, you can have some dynamic point of interest and so on. It's really, really nice. So now I would propose to switch to Android Studio to see how to develop the application. So as a backup in the slide deck here, I have some indication about what has to be done. It's roughly the same things that you will get in the Getting Started section of Stellar LBS documentation. So it's a backup slides you will get from the presentation with Marcos, but I will switch now to Android Studio for the development part. So because the timeline is maybe a bit, I mean, just 1 hour for the webinar, so I prefer to set up the source code already developed rather than doing it in live, and to highlight you on the key points with this. This is not the demo application. This is really a super simple example that will show you how to get some positions, how to place a point on the map, on the indoor map, how to get geofencing notification. That's the key things you need to know before moving forward and implementing super nice use cases. So first point, I consider here you know, and you are Android developers already. So the first point, which is key, is in the Gradle file. You need to import, in fact, the Stellar LBS SDK. So that's the line which is here, and also the Mapwise SDK. So because the SDK we will use for this application. So start with the import. Then in the Android manifest file, which is the file when you where you declare your application. There is few things to do, not that much. What you need is to require some permissions. Permissions linked to Bluetooth, because of course the application will scan Bluetooth signals. So these permissions are absolutely mandatory. And it's also the access to the location services, which is mandatory to have the application able to run. So these are really key. Here I also added some storage because you can use and store some information in files. So first thing is the permissions, and the second one is that we will need to declare a service. It's like a Windows service on a laptop. It's a service that is always running, and that's linked also to the background scanning, which is made. So we declare this service, which is a class, which is added here, and this class, there's almost nothing to do. It's just extending one class of our SDK, which is now service manager, and that's it. And here you start to be able to scan and get some information from the beacons. Then, of course, you start your application. You have what we call an activity on Android, which is, let's say, the main window. So this activity extends, app compat activity. So you get, in fact, a non-create method when your application is starting. And what we will do in this onCreate method is, in fact, to implement a location client, which will use the Stellar LBS SDK and which will deliver the position every 1 second. So we will jump into this class later. Then the second part of it, consider that you will get here your positioning information, will be to display this position on a map. So we will display a map, which is described in this XML file, which is activity main that I can go to. It's the way it is always done on Android. So it's a Mapbox component, which is a map view that display a map anywhere in the world. It displays a map on your Android application. Of course, we will set latitude and longitude to this map. Okay, we can also define that with the source code, so that the map will be focused on a given area in the world. In that case, it will be our ALE site in Brest, in Brittany, in France. And that's it. That's it. So just do that, and you will display with that the map. We will go a bit more in the detail of this map display later. It's okay. It's only this number of line of codes, but we can go later on that. So let's jump to the location client. So what we will do with this is, in fact, to instantiate. I mean, this class is implementing some interface of our Stellar LBS SDK. So one is a location listener. So that's the interface to be implemented to receive all location updates. You get also some sensors listeners, so to be able to catch information from the sensors of the phone, and synchronization listener, which in fact will get you deliver you an information that if your SDK is fully synchronized with the cloud. I mean, there is one thing that the SDK is doing is trying to get a positioning database that has been delivered during the fingerprinting and calibration phase. It's doing once. It gets this positioning database that is running locally to the phone, and it uses also this information to enhance the location that will come with the trilateration. So it's trilateration plus sensor plus this positioning database that gives huge number of samples of measurements that give at the end the accuracy of 2 meters I was speaking about. So in this, in the constructor of this class, you just set a location handle, and that's it. Where you pass, that's the main criteria. You pass your LBS API key. An API key, it's when you build a site using Stellar LBS, so when you import your map, for instance, we can go to Stellar LBS here. Here it's a site, it's the site of Brest. It's currently, I'm currently editing, modifying a geofence, okay? But as soon as you have done all this configuration job with the beacons, the geofence and so on, you get in the developer section here, an API key. And this API key here is the one to use when you want to build your application. So that's the one which is set here. So roughly that's the initialization of the location list now. And then you ask for the synchronization data, meaning are my data correctly synchronized? You will check that the positioning database is okay, and you call the start method. And as soon as you do that, you will receive firstly a location status change, which will indicate that your status of location is okay. And then every second, if I set a breakpoint here, you will get some location information. And what needs to be done after that is to place this location, which is coordinates, latitude, longitude, and altitude, to place this location on the map. And in that case, there is also an interface to implement for the mapwise part, which is a mapping provider, where you simply set, you call a method which set the indoor location to the mapwise SDK, and that's it. Mapwise will display automatically your position on the map. That's done through the mapping indoor provider here, which is a specific class like this one. But it's really a few lines of code. I don't go into the detail today. It's really nothing big inside, and that's super easy to implement. So going back to the main activity, you get your location client. In the location client, you get the position update every 1 second. You push that on the map, and the remaining stuff to do is about, in fact, just displaying the map. So this is done here. It's a completely basic Mapbox code in the first part. Then it's using the Mapwise plugin to display the indoor map into Mapbox. So for instance, if we look at Mapwise in that case, so that's the studio for Mapwise, where when I get the map for the Brest site here, you see there is outdoor, other building. It's not our site, so we have no indoor information. But this is our location in Brest, in Brittany, in France. And this is a map, and you can edit your point of interest. So for instance, here, that's the library, and I can change the name. I can add a specific icon. I can do what I want with that. That's quite easy to use and to update and draw your location. So you load the Mapwise plugin here, and in that case, you also need to use some specific API keys for Mapbox and Mapwise. So these are done here. So for Mapbox, you create an account on Mapbox, and that's it. And for Mapwise, it's the same at the end. You can create your account, sign up, and you get API key that you can use and copy paste this line roughly, and that will be okay. You set the location provider, which is the one we just described previously, and you will see now position on the map. So I will start to debugging of that before I will connect with this application. Sorry, just need to start my quick support application, and that will be okay. You will see the mobile. I hope so. Okay, that's the mobile. So first, maybe I start without debugging. So you'll see how it goes on the mobile. Okay, so I pinch the screen. You see here. You see the map. You see the position which is moving. So for your information, and this is something that is very useful, I use an emulation file for the position. That's something we can get after the calibration phase. You upload some file on the Cloud Manager, and there is possibility to get these files to, after that, apply some emulation. That means you can develop your application for a Brazilian location being located in France, because you get the emulation and you are able to replay, in fact, what has been done during the calibration phase. So here you see the position of the user is moving and the map is displayed. And this is done just with a few lines of code I show you, nothing more than that. If we go now to debugging. So, okay, so I'm jumping into the main application here, main activity. So I'm on the onCreate. I will instantiate my indoor provider. So I will remove this breakpoint. Then I will instantiate a location client here and display the map. Now, in the listener of the location client, I am receiving a location status change, which is indicating me that fix available means that's okay. That's the information we expect. And after that, every second, I will receive a location information. And you see the location, altitude is 0, and you get other information like latitude, longitude, and also one interesting information, which is the accuracy. Because the algorithm go more and more confident with time. So in few seconds, the accuracy will be the accuracy value will be improved. So you can set breakpoint here. Every second you get an information, and that makes a display on the map. And that's it. This is actually what you can see here. Okay, now that's for the location. Another quick example, it's almost the same thing, is about the geofencing. For the geofencing client, it's very similar to the location client, except you are not implementing the same interface. Here you are listening for geofence information. So you are implementing geofencing and geofence listeners. You do the same stuff to synchronize data to start the geofencing client as previously, and you will get information about entering a geofence like this, exiting or leaving a geofence like this, and this information on Fire Now Alert will give you even more information, because what I did not show so far is in the geo notification when you define your geofence, so basically, an event about entering a geofence is that you will know that you enter geofence called belem. Okay, but with the other event, you are able to receive much more information. You are able to receive information like, for instance, any additional data you can set here. So, for instance, for proximity marketing or whatever marketing, I mean, I can set just a link here to a web page or to a video, and you will be able in the event to get this information and to play a video or to play to display the web page. That's what our demo application is doing. You are also able to start to set a start time and an end time for the location, for the geofencing notification. So, for instance, you get an event from 3 to 5 p.m., but after 5 p.m., no event or another event. You are able to manage that kind of stuff with the solution. So, event for entering or leaving a geofence, okay, with the geofencing client. And now I just set, because I did not set it so far, so we'll just activate this line and restart the debugging. And you will see that we will receive this event because, in fact, the emulation I'm playing, the user is working in this room. So we have a geofence which has been defined in this room. So we are supposed to receive a geofencing notification that we were not receiving previously. So it's deploying the binary file on the mobile. So it takes a bit of time. So okay, we will now implement the geofencing client. This is a display of the map, so we already checked that it's okay. And now I'm supposed to receive entering geofence with geofence information, which is the parameter here is name of the geofence is belem. So I know I'm entering the belem room, and here I just set a log, but you can do what you want. You can push back that data to another server third party where you can manage your room reservation system or whatever, and you can automatically book a room, for instance, because user Jerome is entering the meeting room number 10. Okay, I book the meeting room number 10 for 1 hour, for instance. You can really do what you want. You can also add some rainbow stuff here, so you can implement almost everything you need there. Then I will probably not receive exit geofence because, as I say, the user is always in this room. And that's it. That's almost all I wanted to show to you in terms of development. So that's really, I mean, during the hackathon, during 2 days, we will for sure be able to implement easily that kind of applications. We can also have in mind to use the REST API of Stellar LBS. So, for instance, one current demo which is currently running in a dedicated education forum in the US is that when an intrusion is detected in a given geofence, let's say this one, so there is an issue. There is, let's say, a guy with a gun or whatever. So there is an issue. And you can really, from the mobile application, trigger an alert to a notification system that will use the REST API to change this area, highlight it in red or whatever, and send rainbow channel notification. And that's the type of thing which is possible to do. I really think it's in 2 days, it's really possible to easily deploy and implement some solution based on Stellar LBS and Rainbow SDK. So almost good timing because I don't know if it's possible with the webinar tool, but it's also will let us possibility to have a quick question and answer session if we want, Marcos. So
yes, it's okay. It's okay, Jerome. I have booked 1 hour more.
Okay.
So it's not an issue. Ok, guys. Pessoal do webinar que tá acessando, se vocês tiverem alguma dúvida. Oi, Rubem, o som caiu? Rubem, você me ouve bem? Se vocês tiverem alguma dúvida, pode postar aqui na seção de perguntas, questions. Pode ser em inglês, ou se vocês preferirem em português, a gente traduz para o Jerome, não tem nenhum problema, ok?
Yes, because in Portuguese I know only football players, so Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, that's difficult.
And Neymar as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's see. No question, guys? Nenhuma pergunta, pessoal? Ok, so pessoal, essa sessão foi gravada. Eu vou disponibilizar no YouTube Channel, assim como a apresentação do Jerome. Se vocês tiverem qualquer dúvida, vocês podem postar a dúvida no grupo do Rainbow. Pode ser em português e a gente traduz para o Jerome, caso vocês comecem a desenvolver alguma aplicação com LBS. Okay, Jerome, so we don't have a question so far. I have requested to all participants, in case of any doubts, they can post the question on Rainbow Bubble, and then we can interact. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Jerome. Yes.
Marcos, just I missed a point. If you get 5 minutes more,
yes. Okay.
This is the lines to implement some wayfinding. Here it's an hard-coded wayfinding. So I will each time go from my position to this place, which is the library. Okay, and you see it's okay. You get the place from the name, which is library, or if you click on the map, you can also click on the point of interest and get the name with an event automatically. And I just need to call this. This is purely some mapwise SDK. I just need to call this API get direction from my position. So get user position, latitude, longitude. So from my position to the place I indicated before. And that's it. In fact, I checking the direction. I will receive an event information saying here that's a success, of course. And then I will go to the draw wayfinding function, which is basically a set direction call to the mapwise SDK. And in that case, what it will do, in fact, if I start or even not with debugging, but if I start from the application, I will click on the wayfinding button here, and that will go through the code I will just showing you. Maybe I should have done that from the beginning. The display would have been better. Let me check. I'm just restarting the application. Is that okay? And if I click on the wayfinding button, I will go to the library. So screen is a bit okay. This is just the wayfinding to go there. And I mean the drawing you see with the direction, and it could be more complex direction with multiple buildings, multiple floors. You will say to take the stairs or the elevators and so on. This is just done with this line of code. Now that's quite easy to implement also the wayfinding stuff. Sorry, I totally missed to speak about that. So that's a key feature also of the solution. So this time I'm done.
Ok. Thank you, Jerome. Pessoal, alguma pergunta? Rubem, pessoal da Intuitiva, os participantes do Hackathon. Maria Eugênia, tem alguma pergunta? Não. Ok. Let me check. Okay, guys. So if you have any doubt, I ask you to post your doubt on the Rainbow Hackathon bubble, and then we're gonna answer. Okay. So thank you very much, Jerome, for your time. Very good presentation. And I hope to see some group developing some application with LBS for Hackathon in November. Thank you very much.
Hope to. I send you the presentation. The guys will get the links, the source code of the application, and to prepare before the hackathon with some in-deep, coding before.
Pessoal, só para ficar claro, se algum grupo for desenvolver a aplicação e quiser testar isso antes, conforme o Jerome comentou na apresentação, existe a possibilidade de emulação dos serviços LBS sem que seja necessário você ter um beacon aí na localidade de vocês. Então, vamos pensar bem aí para considerar esses serviços de geolocalização na sua aplicação. Cada equipe tem um grupo específico, a gente pode conversar melhor nos grupos das equipes. E se vocês forem colocar o serviço do LBS no seu projeto, a gente ajuda vocês a começar a trabalhar desde já, ok? Okay, so thank you very much, Jerome, and we keep in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Jerome.